Hi guys, Model Muppet here. How are you doing? Well, people in Elder Scrolls Online are charging up to $10,000 for werewolf bites. What the fuck is going on? Well, if you watch this channel, you can get a free werewolf bite, you can get a free vampire bite, you can even get a free Daedric Armour. Just keep watching to find out how. Seriously, it's true. People are charging between 5 and 10,000 in-game currency for werewolf bites and vampire bites. Now, if you'd like either one of those, I can do one a week. And basically, just message me in-game. Details are up on the screen there. I'm quite happy to give them away to subscribers. Actually, you know what? You don't even have to be a subscriber. It's nice if you subscribe. But I don't care. Whoever gets the first call in a game gets it. It's that simple. I'll aim to do them at the weekend, and then at least people will know that's kind of when the best time to ask is. So Saturday or Sunday. Just message me in game. If I'm online, I'll message you back and say, yeah, sure, I'll do it. If it's already gone, it's already gone. Like I say, you don't have to be a subscriber. You don't have to rate, share, and like, or put a comment down. But you know what, guys? It really helps if you do. So put a comment down, rate it, and share, and like it anyway, because I am kind of nice and awesome and fluffy and lovely and all that kind of stuff. Now, also, one of my in-game friends, Draco, we have got together here. I gave him the motive to make Daedric Armour, and he already has some other insanely good motives like Ancient Elves, etc. And what we're going to start doing is competition once a week. And if you win the competition, we will make you a piece of armour of your choice for whatever level you are. At the minute, we can make it up to about level 3 veteran, I think, but obviously as time goes on we will be able to increase that. Right guys, at this point I am joined by my fellow Elder Scrolls Online player Draco. Draco, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, how are you?
Awesome! Right, Draco, you're the fella who actually gave me the werewolf bite in the first place and infected me, you bastard.
Well, you looked sort of tasty. I thought I'd go for a little bit of a nibble.
Bite me. Right.
That's what I did.
Draco, you're very familiar with the werewolf line. You've leveled up to what, the top ranking in werewolf, is that correct?
Almost, but the last rank doesn't do that much of a difference. You just get an additional unlock in one of the passives. So
yeah, but you're certainly familiar with it, so you know all the ins and outs of it.
yeah, sort of. I've tried it out. And
also, one of the reasons I'd like to talk to you about this is that you're actually studying game design. Is that correct?
Yeah, in University of Skövde in Sweden.
Awesome. So you've got a bit of insight, I guess, into sort of gameplay mechanics from a designer viewpoint as well as from a player viewpoint.
Yeah, I would say so, although sort of basic on a design point.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. Anyway, so just let's get this ball rolling. What do you think of the werewolf skill line in Elder Scrolls Online?
Underwhelming, to be honest.
Yeah.
The problem starts already with it's kind of like the first thing you get as a werewolf is the werewolf transformation. It looks cool, but it's a very expensive skill to use, and it doesn't really do that much.
Yeah, so expensive, for those who aren't quite familiar with what we're talking about, he doesn't mean it costs money. It costs ultimate points. Basically, anytime you use abilities within Elder Scrolls Online, it costs you will gain ultimate points from doing so. And just to sort of give you some insight, I'd say the average ultimate ability costs about 250 points, would you say, around that?
Yeah, that's a fair assessment.
And Werewolf costs, in the beginning, how much?
It used to cost 1,000, but I think they lowered it to about 740. It's still expensive.
Yeah, so it's still sort of quite difficult to use. And now, basically what happens is when you trigger off this ultimate ability, you turn into a werewolf, which is fun. I mean, I do really enjoy the transformations. You know, it's a fun thing to use, even if its utility isn't that great. But this will then only last for about 30 seconds, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, unless to get a passive, which you get quite late, which is called Devoured, which allows you to basically eat a heart of humanoid creature and wolves for some reason, which extend this time. But to be honest, I think you should have that from the get-go, not on, was it rank 4 or something?
I totally agree with you, because what happens is, if, say for example, you have the vampire skill line, you're gaining experience in that all the time. As long as you have one of the vampire skills in your toolbar, in your skill bar, you will be gaining experience in that. Whenever you hand a quest in, whenever you attack enemies, etc., you're getting a little bit of experience all the time. But with the werewolf form, you only gain experience while you're actually in werewolf form. Is that correct?
Yes, and another things to take into this is also that the vampires' passives are useful even when you're not actively using vampire skills, while every single passive and active ability you get as a werewolf requires you to either have the werewolf slot head or you to be in the werewolf form.
Yeah.
So they're useless if you don't do one of those two things.
Right, so, I mean, it's all sounding a bit grim. I mean, the idea of this video is that I'm going to be offering people a free werewolf bite. And at the minute, people will be thinking, what the fuck do I want a werewolf bite for? Because it sounds crap. So, let's try and think, is there any positives to it?
Well, you look kind of awesome.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It looks cool. It's as cool as fuck when you turn into this big fucking wolf that just runs around chomping on everything. And me, when I'm playing and I go into wolf form, I kind of get this red mist in my eyes. Not on the game screen, but I just get this sort of red mist. And I have to go around and so I like bite everything. So I mean, do you agree from that sort of fun perspective that it's like that?
Yes, it is that. It's fun to kind of turn into this werewolf and just start clawing at stuff. But it's a little bit underwhelming, I must say.
Right.
But it's fun, but a little bit underwhelming, because you tend to have lesser DPS when you're in werewolf form than you're in normal form.
Yeah, and it's like... I guess the only ultimate ability I've come across so far that makes you actually kind of weaker than less survivability than you would have had if you didn't trigger it off. But right now you're an aspiring games designer, and just say that ZeniMax ring you up tomorrow and say, all right, Draco, how do we fix this? What suggestions would you make that would actually fix the werewolf ability?
If you only need to change one thing, it's actually to make the werewolf transformation toggleable rather than a triggered ability lasting for 30 seconds. That would sort of make the other things, the rest of the design of the werewolf, sort of work. But as it is now, if you look at the other things, you get extra stamina while in werewolf form. You get stuff while you're in werewolf form.
Yeah. Now, one thing that kind of strikes me about it is if I'm in a boss fight, usually I want to build up my ultimate, because my ultimate ability will generally be helpful in a boss fight. But what I find in werewolf form, that isn't the case. Is there anything that you could suggest that would make it better against, say, boss fights?
Well, I think it's strange that werewolf doesn't have a higher health regeneration if you look to kind of the general lore of werewolves.
Yeah.
It's basically the only thing werewolves get is a big boost in stamina while in werewolf form. But it's fair to say that they also have a less of a weakness than vampires, because vampires have a weakness to fire.
Yeah.
Which is a rather common source of damage
yes.
if you look throughout the world.
Yeah.
While werewolf has a 50% weakness to poison, which basically only the bow skill line have. You can enchant weapon to do a little bit of poison, and there's some PvE creatures that do poison damage.
Yeah, now, somebody did mention something on the forum, so this just kind of popped into my head here, that it would be kind of cool if when in-game it was a full moon, that you were turned into a werewolf and you couldn't stop it. You were kind of stuck in werewolf form for the duration of the full moon. What would you think about that?
It's a cool idea, but I think a lot of people could get annoyed by it as well.
Well, you could do something that could change it, like you could maybe buy a potion or go and see a person in game that kind of temporarily cured you.
Or go indoors.
Or go indoors, yeah. Right, one last thing. Can you do a werewolf howl? Like, ow!
No, I won't even try.
Well, you're a stupid bitch and you don't even deserve to have werewolf form.
Ow.
Alright, Draco, is there anything else you'd like to add for this?
Cinemax have said that they are going to change up the werewolf. Hopefully they do something cool with it.
Yeah. So are you going to keep the werewolf ability in the hope that ZeniMax change it, or are you going to look to cure it? You're going to keep it?
I'm going to keep it.
Yeah, me too, just because it's kind of cool. And it's fun to do, but I would like to see some changes.
Yeah.
Alright, Draco, thanks very much for joining me, buddy. And I'll see you in game.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Alright guys, this is Muppet saying out. Ciao!